Erin Harrison coming to you from Cloud Expo in Santa Clara, California. And I'm joined today by Josh Goldstein, who is Vice President of Marketing for Cirtas. Welcome, Josh.
Thanks, Erin.
So you guys are pretty new to the space. Tell us about Cirtas and what you guys do.
Sure. What Cirtas has done is develop a new kind of data storage device that we call a cloud storage controller. And what we do is we present something that looks like a storage system that you would expect in a normal enterprise. But the difference is that we're leveraging the cloud on the back end. Companies like Amazon's S3 or Iron Mountain or AT&T offer very scalable, very inexpensive cloud storage services. And our device uses those as the data repository instead of disk drives that are local in a company's data center.
Okay, and there's a lot of new entrants into the market. There's been a lot of hype around cloud for the last couple of years. What differentiates Cirtas from the rest of the players?
Sure. The keys for us are really making the cloud accessible and high performing in scenarios where it wouldn't be otherwise. So the heritage of our company comes kind of a combination of guys with storage backgrounds and guys with WAN optimization and networking backgrounds. And so we're leveraging that expertise to make it so that you can use the cloud in a way that's much more analogous to using local storage, where you wouldn't even perceive the difference. And that's what's really key. Is the cloud's kind of had a limited set of use cases, and now we can make it where you can use it for a much broader set of applications and get the same kind of security and performance and compatibility to your applications, just like you were using a local storage device. So in essence, if we do our job well, you don't even know that you're using the cloud on the back end. Other than that, it's less expensive and it's much easier to manage.
Right, so tell us about who some of your clients are and what's driving adoption to the cloud.
Sure. Our clients are typically mid-market enterprise companies. So it's guys who have made fairly good investments in their storage infrastructure already, and their data is growing at a high rate. And they're generally struggling with issues of capacity growth. How are they going to manage to do backups and disaster recovery plans on all the data that they're creating? And so we give them a very nice, easy way to handle that. And it's a much different, much easier environment than what they're typically used to. There's just a lot less moving parts and cost involved in it.
Okay. And what are some of the applications that you're seeing people move to the cloud? What are they using cloud for?
Sure. It's really a broad set of things. So storage kind of by nature is fairly horizontal, and lots of apps can consume a lot of storage. For us, the things that we look at are what we would call Tier 2 and Tier 3 applications, as well as secondary storage. So for Tier 2 and Tier 3 applications, that could be things like archiving, it could be things like development and test environments. It can be anything kind of below the mission-critical Tier 1 stuff that most people really don't want to mess around with the environments once they have them up and running. And then for secondary storage, that's your backup environment, so people can use our appliance as a way of doing backup to the cloud, where you've naturally got everything off-site because you're storing it in the cloud instead of in your local environment, where you then have to worry about how do you off-site your backups for disaster recovery protection.
Okay, and then there's also the private cloud, the public cloud, and now the hybrid model. What are some of the benefits of that?
Well, what we're really doing is kind of the hybrid model, where we have an on-site appliance that's tying you into a public cloud. What we can also do is tie into a private cloud. So for example, if a company is not yet ready to move to the public cloud, and they decide they want to build a private cloud, and they have branch offices, and they're going to try to move all the data storage from those branch offices back into a central private cloud, our device will act as the local storage gateway into the private cloud from those branch offices, and give the servers in those offices the appearance of having local storage, but the IT department now gets the benefit of a private cloud that's easier to manage in one location.
Okay, great. Also, any trends or predictions you want to make for 2011, where you see the industry headed?
I think we're going to see 2011 kind of be, I think, the banner year where the cloud really starts to take off. So there's a lot of work being done on making the cloud more accessible. So we do it on the storage side, but there are a lot of companies doing this for the compute side as well, and helping companies figure out how to get their applications to go into the cloud easier. So I think this is the year where we're going to see some real strong growth, and see that it kind of crosses over into the mainstream. It's sort of historically been something where you might have seen individual web developers or certain kinds of web-based applications really take advantage of it because they were a natural fit from the beginning. Now we're going to see more of the mainstream applications and the commercial apps that people have had for a long time being able to be cloud deployed.
And in terms of adoption, do you think enterprises are becoming more comfortable with the idea of cloud?
They're absolutely becoming more comfortable with it. We've seen a big shift in the last 6 months where more and more initiatives are being driven by the CIO, where they really want to examine and understand the cost of doing something in-house versus the cost of doing it in the cloud before they make a new decision. So any new project getting spun up, they're always going to go and compare in-house versus cloud and then go with what's best. And for us, that's great because that's exactly what we're doing, is helping enable the cloud and show that it can have a much stronger TCO than doing things internally. Most CIOs don't want to be in the business of operating infrastructure and data centers. They're in the business of delivering applications, and that's what we allow them to do and focus on.
And what's the core message from Cirtas to the market?
The core message for us is that you can now have cloud storage that works like your local storage. And that's something that you couldn't have done in the past.
Okay, well, thank you, Josh.
All right, thank you, Erin.
I've been speaking with Josh Goldstein, Vice President of Marketing for Cirtas. I'm Erin Harrison, coming to you from Santa Clara at Cloud Expo.